When I look at rhema, I see it more as a particular specific revelation of Scripture that gives us the ability to thrust it into the enemy the moment that he tries to come against us. So in other words, now we're not just all guarded up. We're not just all guarded up to be able to resist the enemy in that sense. But we have the ability now to take forth the sword and be able to penetrate what the enemy comes against us. This is what Jesus was doing going back to Mark 1, Matthew 4, Luke 4. When the enemy would come and he would bring forth his accusations, his lies, and try to get the son. I'm talking fast because I got a lot to say and I'm getting done quickly. So what we have to find out is that the enemy had a lot to say to the Lord, but the Lord has something to say back. And what he said, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth from the mouth of God. So in other words, the rhema, he had to take and jab back at the enemy in order to allow him to say, I will resist the devil. Why? Because I have submitted myself to God. And when I submitted myself to God, I resist the devil and he flees from me. You want him out of your life. You want him out of your life. When he finished that temptation, the scripture says, and Satan departed from him for a season. How many would like the enemy to leave you alone just for a season? Woo. My God, let it be, Lord. There's a season, I prophesy by the unction of the Spirit. There's a season where the enemy is going to leave you for a season. God's going to give you rest. There's a time we're about to enter into where the rest of the Lord is going to be our rear guard. Take the sword of the Spirit and let's start taking heads. I heard another preacher say one time that when David cut off the head of Goliath, he held his head up. I don't know what this is, but let's pretend this is a head. He held up the head of the giant who had harassed the armies, the nation, the holy nation, the Kahal of God. And David holds up the head of the giant and he looks at the Philistines and he looks back at Israelites. He said, this is how you get ahead in life. Yeah. We get ahead in life by we take off the head of the enemy. Rick Pino sings this song, I'm an army dressed for battle. I'm an army. We're an army. He's talking to the whole entire church collectively. We're an army dressed for battle. And then in one part of the song, it gets kind of silly because then he says, we cut off the giant's head. We eat giants for our bread. We're an army dressed for battle. And I'm telling you, that's powerful to me because there is a generation on the horizon that's going to wield the sword of the Spirit. And it's time to start slaying the giants. I'm ready to see a David generation that's going to rise up in the land and begin to overcome fear, overcome compromise, and begin to have victory in every area of life.